stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Still doing some sharing here. All right, all done. And then gotta check one thing. All right, and I am here. There we are. Hey, Jill, you popped on down there. Yeah, the way it works is I have my computer up here for Facebook and YouTube, but Restream doesn't really go live on Instagram. It's what's called an RTMP setting, and it doesn't follow the same rules. So I wouldn't know who is on. You wouldn't be able to comment, anything like that. So it's a little inconvenient for me, honestly. But it's the way it works. So it has been a while since. Hey, Trish, good to see you. I guess I should do that. If you are here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. Good stuff. It says I got 3 people on. If you could say hi, that would be fantastically awesome. So, hey, Chris, good to see you. So I haven't talked on this topic in a while. I'm going to apologize at the beginning. My shoulder's hurting a lot today. So, I don't have my MRI till the 20 more days. It hurts all the time. Sucks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was still thinking about my shoulder. Hey, Jerry, good to see you, dude. Been a while. Just trying to figure out where to start with this. And it kind of popped up because of something I just wrote, which was, getting tired of people bashing on AA. There are plenty of ways to paths of recovery, right? But I don't hear AAers bashing the other ones either. And if you are, shut your mouth, man. So your recovery is going to be your recovery. It's yours, man. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. Well, unless you're open-minded, maybe you could change some things. But sometimes there's something else holding us back, and that's where mental health comes in. A lot of people already know that I am diagnosed with depression, acute anxiety, and PTSD. And I'm on meds for those. I take sertraline for that, an enormous amount. Reason being is because part of those meds also help me deal with the pain in my shoulder. It also works on pain. So, but what does that do for me? Well, it puts me in a place where I can start to work on things. So it levels me out, is what happens, so that my brain isn't constantly going towards all the bad things. Okay. Yep, that's it. Huh, Joe? Hey, you just quit bashing, man. It's, and I think that takes time too. I do think it doesn't just happen. I think that you need to go through the steps, and I think you need to do the work before that happens to you. But there's some of us. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out chapter 5 here, because that's what it's about. And they talk about it. Now, the thing is, we don't talk a lot about it in meetings. Okay, we don't really talk about trauma. We don't talk. It kind of scares people, right? And we're not doctors. We're not psychiatrists. We're not therapists. And that's why you kind of get some of that pushback. What they're saying is, seek outside help. And so rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually, men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping, developing a manner of living which demands a rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave. I like it when I get messages. Hello, how are you doing and how's your family? I don't know you. What do you want from me? Tell me the good news. All right. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders. That would be me. But many of them recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Sometimes our mental illnesses will interfere with that. Okay? So, excuse me. I was at King Soopers one day and I had my first panic attack. And I still remember being in the aisle. I was looking up at the list to find where something was at. And I don't know what happened. And suddenly I was lost and I went searching for my wife. And I did finally find her. And I'm like, babe, I need to get the fuck out of here. I don't know what's going on with me. And from that point on, it became very, very hard for me to leave the house. And I spent months in my bedroom. And finally went to go see a therapist. I was a little over a year sober at this time, and I finally got to a therapist, and we started talking, and he diagnosed me with PTSD, and I told him, "Fuck you, no." Mm-mm. And my wife went to my therapy sessions too. I did not mind at all. She's a big part of my mental health. She's a person that I can rely on because she knows me well enough, right? And it would take a couple of months for them to convince me of this. What it was I just didn't want another fucking problem to work on. I was so tired. Um, I was so tired of being the one that had the problems all the fucking time. I was tired of it. And I was mad about this. Because once again, I was, the 7% of men or the 5% of whatever. It always seems like my chances are less than average. That life itself seems to be working against me. And that's how it felt. And so I would start to discover different triggers. I'm not going to go into my triggers. Most of them have to do with family. A lot of my stuff has to do with being put away without my permission. And that's where my PTSD comes from. It comes from my parents putting me away when I was 14. Right? Now I'm not going to go into those certain things. I'm not gonna go into particulars on that. But let's just say family and what has happened to us. The fact that we've been putting a depressant down our throats for years and years and years. I see more people in the program that need outside help. That just don't want to do it. Is that for me to push on them? No, it's not. I can't do that. All I can do is be the example, you know. So yes, I was at a point where I was just sick and tired of dealing with this, but I did it. I did it. And I finally admitted, okay, just maybe I have this PTSD thing. I mean, I fit all the criteria. And to this day, I still have nightmares every night. There was a little while there that they stopped. I don't know why. But I wish it would go back to that because I'm getting tired of them. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're just you still feel tired, maybe lethargic. If you're past 6 months and you're still feeling edgy, then you just might need to seek outside help. And this could be hard to do. This is usually what oh yeah, I've seen therapists before. They never help me. Yeah. It's hard to help somebody who's not honest with you. Can I get a can I get an agreement on that? I think I can. If you're not being honest, they can't help you because they don't know how. And it isn't a therapist's job to solve your problems. It is your job to solve your problems. A therapist is a guide. It is an arena. It is a place for you to be able to share your emotions without anybody slapping you upside the head or any kind of repercussion. And that's what it's about. Sometimes I need to talk to my therapist and get this shit off my chest because this would not be the correct arena for it. I don't think you guys want to see me in PTSD mode. And I don't go there very often anymore. And that took a lot of work. You know, well, first of all, it took the basics of the program: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. I had to be open-minded that I had it, right? And then I had to be willing to do something about it. And I didn't have to be honest with you guys. I had to be honest with myself. And so I talk about the PTSD a lot, but usually it's more anxiety that gets us. It's usually anxiety and depression, right? It's usually the one of those two things. And now they might put you on meds, okay? But here's the thing, you're going to talk to your primary care physician. You're going to be honest with them. Be honest. If you don't want to be on meds, then you be honest. You tell them, okay? Maybe they'll think of something else for you. Well, I tried this and I tried that. Sometimes you're going to have to go through a couple meds to see which ones work for you. Sertraline was not my first med. There were other meds that I did try that just didn't work. All right. And this one seems to work well for me. The only thing I don't like about it is I can tell when I don't take it. And so I fear the withdrawal symptoms on that. Right. Even when I was in the and when you have something like this, you know, you're probably not going to want to run around and tell everybody like I did. For a long time there, when I first started this, I was the uh, PTSD poster child, and somebody came along and they said, "Dion, you need to stop doing that because that's how people are going to treat you if you continue doing that." So instead, I let people kind of know, but then I do things by example, right? It's not usually very often that I come on here and I'm angry or mad. Hey Jerry, good to see you. We got two Jerrys on. And sorry. Need some drinking juice here. So back to the mental health. What it comes down to really and all of that is how honest you're going to be with yourself. And it tells us that there are such unfortunates. They seem to have been born that way. I was born this way. I've always worn my emotions on my shirt sleeve. I'm not very good at hiding them because I never really wanted to. No more. If I hide anything, it's pain, physical pain. That's usually what. But what use is there in complaining about it? You know, the more I talk about my hurt shoulder, the more it hurts. So I want to talk about. So yeah, If it's been 6 months, a year, you know, maybe it's still that you never know when that's the thing when it comes to this. You don't know when a flashback is gonna hit you. So I'm gonna kind of describe what it's like. Right? It's like watching you be the angriest person in the whole world, but you're outside of yourself. And so I could be talking to my wife, and what could be going through my head could be, I love you so much. But instead, what comes out is, what the fuck is your problem? Leave me alone. Because everybody becomes the enemy. And I hated that. A lot of times, PTSD will bring around paranoia. And you start to think people are doing things to you that aren't actually there. Yeah. And it can be really fucking scary. It's like reliving the moment over and over and over and over again. So for me, it was constantly, it was like everything was going great in the world, but my stomach told me that everything was bad, that there was just something wrong with the world. And I would cry for days. Yeah. And I had to go through all those things. I had to feel those emotions. I had to get through them without any instant gratification. Granted, yeah, uh, I'm going to say a word, Ativan. Ativan actually got me through a lot of stuff. I know not everybody agrees with, I haven't had, you know, doctor hasn't prescribed me Ativan in a while. But there is still every now and again when something happens, but there's always a series of events that I need to go through before that. And more, I'm not going through those. So more and more, not needing it. And it's part of life. And it's what we do. Um, let's get some chats here. Chris says, I'm in a nursing home. I'm around doctors and nurses all the time. Yeah. I'm sorry. Just Mental Health Center of Denver is a great place for anyone. Yes, MHCD is what she's talking about. If anyone needs help, also listening to Dion. Oh, thank you. Mental Health Corporation of Denver is good. Aurora Mental Health is good. I should know because I'm going to work there. Those are the first two places that I would probably try, or Overcomers Counseling. Those are the three places that I refer to, depending on your situation. Depending on your situation, right? Depends. Do you have Medicaid or do you have another kind of insurance? Are you self-pay? What's going on, right? MHCD probably going to take you a little bit longer to get yourself a diagnosis or what's the first thing that they do? You sit down and you talk, right? Intake or whatever it is, right? It may be 3-4 months. That's why I don't go through the counties like Jefferson County Mental Health, Arapahoe Mental Health, things like that. They're just too understaffed and they get paid too much. Sorry. But um, but if you're in already, then stay in. The problem with that is if you're on Medicaid, it's going to change on you every now and again. That's why I like Overcomers Counseling, because nothing is changing. I've been with them for 9-10 months now. Everything is still the same, right? They have fantastic communication. They always remind me when my appointment's coming up. And they are very on when it comes to taking care of me. And it's nice. My therapist loves her job. That's what tells me that it's a good company. When I'm with a therapist and they don't like their job, I don't really want to be there myself. But I really like my therapist because she enjoys her job. And she's like in her early 30s too. Usually I usually like older men. And I'll tell you why. because I've never had much male influence in my life. So I enjoy getting that from a therapist. I have a it's a daddy issue for me, right? Call it what it is. Daddy problems, right? Not ever feeling like I felt a part of a family, man. It wasn't until I got into AA that I felt like I actually fucking belonged somewhere. I never felt that way in school. I never felt that way growing up. I never felt that way in my own family. I have 8 brothers and sisters, and I don't talk to any of them. Well, they don't talk back. You know, I have very few friends. But what it is that I do is very, it means a lot to me. And that's, see, once you do the work and you get past it, then you're free. And life will become something different. And what I found out is the more I have gone down the scale, the more I can actually help people. And that's why I do this. I've been through a lot in my life. I'm going to tell you something. I'm proud of myself. I just watched Snoop Dogg give a speech on thanking himself, and there were laughters in it, but I got it. I understood what he was saying. He was saying, I'd like to thank myself for working so hard. I'd like to thank myself. So why don't you give a little acceptance speech for yourself about yourself? There's nothing wrong with patting yourself on your own back, as long as you don't break your arm doing it, right? Yeah, see, I just got done saying stuff about Jefferson County mental health, but Chris loves them, right? Fantastic. You know, you're going to find your niche, you're going to find your place, but you got to try. So, what did I do to get out of this? You're looking at it. This is what I did. It was hard for me. And this happened before Corona, a year before Corona. Nobody even heard of fucking Corona yet when I started doing this. This has been over 3 years. And the whole reason I started it is because I knew there was a whole set of people out there just like me that needed to hear what I had to say, to let them know that they don't have to live that life if they don't want to, and to provide a little bit of fucking hope, man. A little bit of hope. So now I don't run around wondering if people are just misunderstanding. Now I just get to be me. And when I get to do that, then I get to let everybody else be who they are too. Because I'm going to accept you. I'm going to love you for who you are, not for any other reason. I have no qualms anymore. Mm-mm. Or what'll happen is I will get in my head, okay, and I will find the trigger and I will trigger myself. And I don't want to go there. I like being serene. I like not being angry. I really do. And there's sometimes my brain's just like, why are we not mad? Because we don't do that. So to come back around to this, I would have to say that anxiety is going to be the biggest one. All right. I don't remember them all, but the first one you're going to go through is separation anxiety. Your pets, how you leave. That's separation anxiety. You're going to get separation anxiety. You're leaving your friends. You're leaving the hooch. You're leaving the food. You're leaving that behind. Did you know you went through that? Did you know that when you quit drinking and did this, you actually went through the stages of death? Then there's generalized anxiety. There's acute anxiety, right? There's several different ones, but I'm already 25 minutes in. So, but take a look at those. And if you're still feeling, uppity or anything else, go see a therapist. Go see a therapist. Okay? Get the fuck over yourself. Who knows? You may show up and they may say, No, you're doing great. But you don't know until you ask. I remember when Shannon and I was seeing our therapist. When Shannon was going to therapy with me, um, my new therapist would never go for that. She'd be like, "No." She's always like, "Is your phone off?" My phone's always going off. "Oh, shit, I'm sorry. I gotta respect her time." But I asked our therapist. I said, "Hey, um, because my wife and I had gone through a lot, and I wanted to make sure that our relationship was good." So I said, "Hey, do you think we need couples counseling?" And I was serious, and he laughed at me. He he said, "No, Dion, you two have a fantastic relationship." I'm good. I just needed that reaffirmation that I was doing right from another source, from a source that I trusted. Right? All right. It's going to get very loud here now. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys for being here. Jerry, good to have you both. Chris, Patricia, Jill, did I miss anybody? I did not. All right. I love you guys. Peace out and have a day.